Picture yourself in a time when the first few automobiles were being made, when the first few factories were being constructed as high as skyscrapers, and goods were traveling all over the country and eventually all around the world. So life was being a little more convenient, getting a little more comfortable for the average person, but a little bit more divided and exploitative as well. Eventually, new technologies transformed not only daily life, but also political systems and structures all over the world. Hi there, my name's Camden, and I'm going to tell you about how the Industrial Revolution has changed the world entirely, being through technological advances, social and labor impacts, as well as global and political consequences. So let's start by taking a little bit more of a closer look regarding the technologies that actually kicked off the Industrial Revolution. Why don't we start by the good old steam engine developed by James Watt? Once the steam engine was produced, things such as factories and trains were beginning to be built, and obviously goods were being able to be constructed. And that being said, factories were able to produce things such as textiles, weapons, and even common cosmetic goods that weren't as commonly available back then as they were now. So things such as soap, butter, makeup, and etc. became a whole lot more available to the public and a lot more available and cheaper to everyone who couldn't afford it before. So now that we've seen a few aforementioned technological advantages and productions, let's see how it actually affected the workers in society overall. How did it affect them as they made it? So obviously, most of these goods had to be created by hand, and with the second industrial revolution coming because of these innovations, there was poor urban living, there was poor work ethic because of poor hours and just overall terrible working conditions in general. Professor over at Stanford, Ms. Priya Satia, had mentioned just how easily these products could be made, but just how dangerous they were. Things such as weapons were simple enough to construct, but the process in making them endangered the lives of most of the workers who happened to be kids as well as women in the workforce. And that wasn't the worst of it. They had to work long hours into the night just to be able to afford a few bucks above their average payment. It was not good at all, and most people stay quiet about these things, but not all. Individuals such as Friedrich Engels, who wrote The Condition of the Working Class in England, had highlighted just how the industrial labor reduced personal freedom for the worker themselves. Eventually, with people becoming a lot more aware of how unfair these practices were, they developed things such as labor unions to come together and basically attack these large companies that they worked for, claiming that the things that they were doing were unfair, and they wanted better rights while working for them. Eventually, these motions caught on, and some companies such as Ford Motors, the first ever construction or engineers of automobiles, had advocated for this sort of appraisal of these workers to give them better rights, better conditions, and better wages. So we've seen how far technology and labor transformed the Western society, but let's start to talk about just how these changes sparked the global and political responses of the world. So fast forward a few years at this point, and we've reached capitalism versus what's on this side, you might ask. Basically, with the workers' movements becoming very popular, people began to develop these political ideologies such as communism and socialism, both argued by people such as Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, very heavy inspirationals who have developed these ideals to combat capitalism and work closer for the people. So with that being said, a lot of these ideologies, their main goal was shared control of production and equity, as well as defying inequality and worker exploitation. Some professors, such as Howard Zinn, have created works such as A People's History in the United States, which actually linked capitalist growth to revolutions, basically seeing this connection of unfairness and why people begin to rebel in the first place. And it wasn't surprising that things such as the Cold War and other hot wars developed, or that were conducted between these countries, had eventually led to all this bloodshed and a struggle between both of these ideologies to begin with. So let's wrap up and revisit about the key takeaways from this monumental shift in history. These shifts being about how the Industrial Revolution actually did shape the world in ways that are still felt even today, being through for technological advancements, social effects, and labor challenges, as well as global and political ideologies and conflicts. So at this point in the world, some people say that we are entering a fourth industrial revolution, and because of that, the main driving points behind this are led by AI and biotech. And if history has taught us anything at all, with great innovation comes with great power. And it may drive progress, but our choices inevitably determine the direction that the world goes forward. So next time you see an innovative idea, just think about how you can put it into this complete sense that you can share with other people and make sure that the world becomes a better place because of it. Thanks again for listening, and I appreciate you.